Chair Rudy Blanco,
Here, present.
Vice Chair Francesca Ortega. Here. Secretary Esther Cohen, here. Miguel Martinez, member.
Present.
Eladio Armesto.
Here.
On order of business, are there any additions or deletions to this agenda?
Anybody else? Anything you see, Miguel, Francesca, Esther?
No. No order of business, no additions, deletions. We'll move over to public comments.
It's kept. Comments, I think we have a
We
couple
have
of gentlemen, yeah.
We have two future members. Danielo Monticello, do you have any words to say?
No, happy to be here and thank you for having me on board. Looking forward to helping you guys out.
Thank you for volunteering. Edwin Orr, you have any words to say?
Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me here, allowing me to be here today. I know it's an exception. And all my free time can be invested in however you guys want, to help out the team.
Please
Yeah.
remember, you both have to visit the clerk, so you can sign the documents and take the oath, so you can be an actual member of the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, we really appreciate it.
If I may ask, who brought you in? Daniela, who brought you in? Somebody else? Francesca?
Everybody calls me.
Appointed him.
No, who appointed
Who,
you?
right, who appointed? Harrisburg. Got it. Got it.
You're appointed.
Oh,
And then, right. And Edwin,
Steven.
JC Fernandez. Still? Record. Okay, welcome aboard, thank you.
Thank
We
you.
do have a clarification for the adoption of minutes. We also have the December 6 minutes that were
Oh,
available at the last meeting, but not printed in time.
gotcha.
Is there a motion to approve the December 6, 2024 minutes?
I see.
I second.
Okay. So,
Well, you didn't have a motion, I'm sorry, a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
The December 6th one.
Yeah, I wasn't here, so I don't know if it's appropriate for me to second it, but I'll second.
Rudy second one, we haven't tried for it.
Rudy.
I know. So,
I did the minutes.
yeah.
You can tell the difference.
Yes.
Okay, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I was like, aye.
The next minute is January 8, 2025. This says special call meeting, so I wanna clarify. If this is January 8th was a special call meeting, that means this meeting is your regular monthly meeting.
That's what I told them.
Yeah,
Because-
but
That's
for
what
the
I told
records of the
them, but for
purpose,
record,
for the purpose of the records,
But for clarification, January 8th was called
As
as
a
a
regular.
special,
no.
no, as a
Regular
regular
meeting.
meeting.
Flip-flop.
So
Because if you guys remember, we set the date for this meeting at that meeting,
At that
therefore this isn't the regular. The
right,
regular
so
one
this
was
is
already-
the special call meeting. I just, for the record to reflect, because that's the way it was, if you look at the tape, it was, Kyle remembers it the same way. So you can't reverse special calls to regular meetings just because you want to. So January 8th was the regular monthly meeting. Because we were supposed to be in Tallahassee at the end of the month. So this is now a
Regular.
special call meeting. I just want to make sure for the record, because
No,
that's
no,
how
no,
I'll also
perfect.
noted it. when
And
you
so
sent
that the
email.
record is as up to date as possible. Moving forward, what are our new days? Because we were supposed to be the third Monday, that's on.
Can we discuss that on the new business, so we can go through the flow of the
Yeah,
agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, so on the January 8th minutes, I do have a clarification I'd like to make. It said, you know, the January 8th.
Let me clarify that, these were the ones I had to do like in a rush, because it was,
I saw it. Okay,
I had to
so,
do it.
the minutes reflected that December minutes were
Right.
being prepared by the secretary. Those minutes were
More
prepared.
prepared. I
Were
think.
prepared and submitted. It was just that the copies weren't made because
I see.
Kyle was on vacation.
Gotcha.
So I just wanted to clarify if those minutes were submitted timely.
More prepared.
there any additions or any corrections to the key and issues discussed?
They go point by point, that I mean.
Is there a motion to approve?
You know.
I motion to accept the minutes.
To accept the minutes. No, I wrote him.
No, I didn't read, I didn't.
I wrote him.
Awesome,
I wrote him. I took
good
notes.
job, Jess.
Uh,
Is there a second?
Second.
Francesca and,
Yeah.
there we go.
Okay, now to regular order of business, Mr. Chair. Meeting's turned over to you, old business.
Any more public comments, anyone else?
Open time.
No. Okay, I think last time we had a letter for the municipalities and so forth. I don't know how that was coming along. I think it was Stephen was preparing a letter to them or something like that. So I
All the
don't know.
letters for the municipalities were.
And he
sent
sent out.
By,
Correct.
Councilmember Hersberg. As noted in the January 21st meeting.
Last I spoke to him, he said there was only one
Any
response,
response?
one response from Miramar. That's it. He was pretty taken aback with the lack of response. And it went out via email and snail mail. So they got, but he said he's gonna follow up further with it.
Okay. Anything else on that? Any other-
Before we move
Yeah.
on to the next topic, I just
Sure,
want to
sure.
show what was put together to complement his letter to the municipalities. We
Is
basically,
that like the, you have
Yes.
for, that Hassie and stuff like that?
it was the same thing that,
No.
yes,
No?
yes,
Yes.
yes,
part
it's
of
that. It's the same, so if you could
It's that-
pass it around for everybody to
This
see.
was very good in Tallahassee. Well, I'll get to that now.
No, the one that was given to
This
council was a little bit different than that. I have.
Yeah, the Steven, the one that I made for Steven was the same one that he printed for Tallahassee.
Same thing.
Do you have this?
Yeah, no, I made a copy.
Do you-
Oh, no.
It's just that has a cover on it. It's the
Okay.
same file.
Since I didn't see the cover, I can't say it's the same thing.
Right, so the idea was for it to be printed like double-sided,
right,
so it
But I
could be
noticed
like
that
a
it wasn't,
one
so.
sheet, like a
no big,
One-
deal. It was no big deal.
one sheet piece of collateral. And what we did with this one is that we broke it down by stages, showing the kind of like how things are affected per stage of, the source of the problem, the conduit of the problem, and the recipients of the said problem. We kind of took a different angle in how we portrayed it, different to a lot of the collateral we have online. So I'm glad you brought these printed so that way we could show it to everybody.
You know?
Mhm.
It's worth mentioning though, this was not a BAB document. This is a
Oh, correct.
Francesca document. She created this, personally and sent to, or allowed, Councilman Hersberg and Rudy Blanco to take on their trips, for their use.
We can adapt it as a VAB piece of collateral if we decide to go that route. and
Well, then we have to have a clarification. If you're saying it's Francesca document, then it should not say Miami Lakes Blasting.
it
The
doesn't-
moment, but you just, this is what was handed at the council meeting.
Correct, and that was an insertion of the display of what was given to the city of Miramar, Stephen
Hi,
Hersberg
Steve.
and Rudy.
I'm just saying, if we're gonna use Miami Lakes
I got it.
blasting, then we have to consider it a blasting document. So are we gonna incorporate or approve this today?
We'd have to approve.
For incorporation to our blasting
Yes,
documents?
Right,
Motion to incorporate Francesca's document.
Right.
Into the blasting advisory board, the Miami Lakes Blasting Advisory Board.
Presented in
Presented in the
December 21, 2020.
December 21, 24 meeting.
Did you get to look at it before? Ray?
Oh, I did.
What do you think?
Great. I told
Perfect.
you. You know,
And I'll tell you now, I'm very.
Miguel's
I'll tell you now.
giving me 100% of the credit.
I'll tell you now.
you know where I look at everything. So there's a motion to for incorporation, there's a
Incorporation,
second
okay.
by Miguel.
We first.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll have, it added to the website. Are you guys okay with that too?
Yes. Right,
Do we have to vote on that?
we just.
No, to add it to the website.
That's common
That's part
sense,
of
it's
it.
our website.
Okay,
Put a motion on it.
just making sure. So you're saying we do have to put a motion on it?
Why would we have to put a motion? It's our website. We
Because we
have
have
to do a motion every time we're gonna add something to the website, Kyle?
I don't need a motion, but if I, if I have direction from you guys, it's
You
fine.
can just put it on the website.
Also,
Just.
Okay, as
So
an
you have,
addition,
this is the one that you sent last week.
Okay, as long as you give it direction, she'll do it. That's fine.
and we, well, going back to Miami-Dade, public hearing, which was very good, that was a precursor to eventually what I had in Tallahassee, that was a very good public hearing. That was held by the Miami-Dade delegation of, senators, representatives from the state of Florida. Stephen Herzberg spoke at that, went very well. I think that's on tape. It's on video. And it was very good. I thought it was excellent. So I mentioned that everybody remembered it when I went the week after. That's a good one, which I'll get to right now. But it was very good. I know Miguel was there too, and everything else is one of those impromptu things that came out of nowhere, flash. We're having a Miami-Dade delegation meeting, boom. And I told everybody, look, you know, as much do as I could, let's go, and we went that day in early morning, and I don't know if anything else to go, anybody else, questions? That was very good.
Yeah.
Roll with that.
I thought it was well received.
Yeah.
It was even an ovation afterwards, after Councilman Stephen Hertzberg presented. So it was well received. It was good. Keep shaking the trees.
Anybody else, anything else, any questions? No. Moving on to item C, the review, my, as you do with the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce. For everybody that knows, Greater Miami, we are part of, the town of Miami-Dade is a part of the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce. And, I'm part of the Government Affairs Committee of that chamber. I'm also part of the International Committee and the Real Estate Committee of that. So I took it upon myself to. And I'm with the board too, we need as much of us as we can lobby. And at least on that angle, on that leg of our efforts, to try to get Tallahassee to respond to us, to have some type of initiative with us. And to get, know our plight as to what's going on. So I engaged the Government Affairs Committee of the General of the Greater Miami Chamber, and they were very receptive to it. They're just still waiting on a bill, which I'll get to that now, either a Senate bill or a House bill, which still has not emerged. But other than that, I still went on that trip because I had to go. But at the same time, I piggybacked on that, and I also managed to spread the word to a lot of different legislators, not only from Dade County, but from Broward and the West Coast, as a matter of fact. Plus, I also took the advantage of trying to meet with and met with Danny Pettis, who is our new Speaker of the House. And he was very receptive to our plight and everything else. He got all these, I spread like around 40 of all these different sheets to all the different representatives and different people that I met on the way. Janet Nunez, our Vice Governor, everybody who I could get a hold of. And I went for those 2 or 3 days. I covered very well. And I told them about our plight, besides whatever I did also with the Greater Miami Chamber. So the idea was to set the foot. Many people knew it. The Dade delegation knew it already. Because the week before, we had just done this public hearing. So it was very good, very well received. They know what's going on. They're just waiting for Tom Fabrizio and Brian Avila to present their bills. And that's really where we at. But everybody else pretty much knows. I talked to Nikita up there when I was up there and so forth. And I'll give you an update as to where their bills are. But that was very good. I was very receptive of everybody, and I try to get as many people as I can to be a part of our cause and everything else, because the Greater Miami Chamber has a very big pool in Tallahassee. It always has for 100-something years. It is the leading chamber of commerce in the state of Florida. So I did that, and it was very well received at the same time. So
Thank
that's
you.
great. Anybody else? Any questions?
Presenting.
Sure. Sure.
Any feedback, did you receive any feedback?
From, especially from the ones, two representatives, Adam Botana and Sonia Valdez, who's now very, very powerful House of Representative from the Orlando area. They were very concerned when I talked to them about it. Because they're starting to feel it in the West Coast now. Like you talk about Lee County, the whole Bonita Springs area, Cape Coral, all that area, they're starting to feel some of the effects of it too.
Any,
So feedbacks, they were gonna get back with Steven. I gave him Steven's number, my number too. I don't know if they called Steven. I gave Steven information too, because he was the ones that gave out most of these letters. And, we're still trying to find out who the new, well, state fire marshal is and CFO. That's, as you know, Jimmy Patronis has left that cause. He will be out of there, I think, in April. So we have another person in mind. It'll probably be Joe Rooters, but we still don't know that. That's still up in the air. So I tried to call as many people as I could and get back to them. Remember, we're in the early stages of committees and everything else. But we really need those bills, so forth to really show, there's something we can vote on or approve or discuss or go to committees, go to other activities and so forth. So everybody was still.
what about the Fort Myers? Rommel was in serving that area and he's termed out.
I think he's termed out. He's one of the ones that's termed out in there. You gotta see who the new people that are coming in is, and, will be in everything else in that particular area. Very important. Because they're starting to feel the effects. And then I talked to very big for us, Mike Redondo. Mike is very, I talked to him various times. He was my companion in the airlines coming back. So he was very sad because he's a representative down south. The Kendall Homestead. So, and he was like, no, something definitely has to be done about this, whether the county level, state level, and so forth. But Mike Redondo, I told Stephen too, and at the end of that, he is very innovative and he knows it very well. Listen, gotta work together, gotta get a grip of this, is killing us in Northwest State, and eventually it might go to your area. So Mike Redondo is very influential person. Key representative down there. I met with all of the Borras, Barrero, Borrero, and everybody else, but I think Mike Redondo was very good. And believe it or not, our Democratic friends east of us here are very receptive to Miami Gardens. Shauna Hayes, from.
It's a
from
nonpartisan
here.
issue.
That's exactly what she said, and they were very receptive too, so. I set the stage, they're like. They're like waiting for, okay, we have a bill, do we have anything left, so. That's where we are, so if I tell them Miami Lakes, or we later on go, the doors are open, the seeds have been really well planted for this year. And that's the idea, that was my idea of the trip.
We don't get the door in there.
Well, not yet, if not, I have to call Angelo again, but anyway, that's another story. Any other questions, anything else?
Thank you for representing.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Anybody else? Anything else? Okay, that, we'll move along. We good? The council meeting, how was that? How was the committee reports? How was that? I haven't been able to see the replay.
Went well,
Good, good.
and the only item that was not discussed in public was the attorney report, which is what we discussed in sunshine.
Right, forget, right, and I have that later on, and we'll go back, because that's a sunshine. That's a
Everything
sunshine.
went well, and they thanked the plastic company.
Excellent.
The attorney, made mention.
Yes, that's it, Robin?
Yes, that's.
That in a roundabout way, he's quite impressed with the work that we've done. And the efforts that have happened, the knowledge that we've all learned and expressing. He's appreciative of it, and we'll be following up further with what they're doing.
Good. Good, I'm glad. Well, that was. Oh, the nerves.
We covered you, don't worry. We got your back. We
Just
got
like
your
a
back.
couple hours notice.
We got your back.
I appreciate it though, a little
You
bit
did.
of time to mentally prepare.
We have everybody's back.
Good.
We're okay.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for that. You're recovering. Next item, action items. Well, these are some of the action items that were left from the Housing Advisory Opinion of 2024 that we did. I know that we're still trying to get other municipalities involved. I know Steven's trying hard. I'm trying hard with Doral. Matter of fact, that looks good. Doral, now that we don't have an incinerator issue, at least for another, who knows when. This is not gonna go to Dade. I think now the rounds come down, and maybe even Miramar's come down. And maybe they can focus on blasting, which is getting us. I mean, by the way, for public comments, I should have put, I'm sorry, we had 2 blasts for today. 11:22 and 1:22 in the afternoon. But anyway, should have put that from the beginning, but anyway. But I
Would you
know
like
that,
me to note that?
yes, please.
Can I,
If you
can
don't
you
mind.
repeat it, please?
Yes, it was 10:22. And I want to have 1:22 in the afternoon. Yeah, I know. Very. Everybody says something. Anyway,
It's okay.
I have
For
those,
the record.
yeah, I want to put it right.
Mhm.
And so I know we're trying to get more municipalities involved. I haven't heard from Andy, I'm trying to get Bogle and some other one involved, but Miramar and I think the Rob will be our main allies in this cause.
Any word with Hialeah Gardens?
That was another one, Hialeah Gardens,
It's very odd. They don't.
It's
even the
very
Emails
odd.
that
Correct.
go through.
because if we feel it, they have to feel it. It's a natural.
Oh, they have them bad. I have many friends that live there and it's bad.
And the new construction homes,
Those are.
my house in PSN absorbs the blasting better than the
Yeah,
new construction.
Yeah,
houses.
but our houses in PSM were made in the 60s.
Yeah, yeah.
much more rigid than
Yeah,
new
it's-
construction.
No, it's better, it's hard, it's more sturdy.
But that's also my point, that you would think that they would be more involved and like want to.
Right. Well, the community is, but not the
Not the
governing body.
representatives, people that count.
The representatives are, they're absent.
I think it's hard to get, like, you mentioned 2 blasts today.
Yeah.
It's
At
hard-
least that I know of,
Yeah, I felt it too.
that I know of.
Today, but I think it's hard to be there for that blast.
Right.
Oh, this blast is that.
So it's the municipality involvement, I think it's a continuous thing. I think it's gotta be, I think it's gotta be done. You know, on an all-time basis. Not only us, the representatives here too, the town council people here too. And the mayor, he had promised me he was gonna talk with all the municipalities and everybody else, so. And that goes. Lobbying efforts, I know that we need to meet with our lobbyists. I haven't heard from Eddie Gonzalez, from William McRae. That's number 2, and some of the other ones.
And
I don't know who's going to do that. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No,
Regarding municipalities, the Miramar Blasting Advisory Board is going to be presenting to their council. And they're working on a presentation and with Francesca and I had gone to a meeting there. And I provided them the presentations that we did when we went to the workshop in Tallahassee. They're
How are they, you know, are they prepared, are they organized? Are
they're
they-
not prepared enough, and they acknowledge it, and because of falling or being far back as they are. They have new members, and one new member in particular stated that we should focus on what their goal is. And I would agree to them, so, you know, to kind of like hone down to, and say, we're pretty broad, because we're covering everything. These people have a specific task, is let's focus on to that, so that we can achieve a single task that we're assigned to do. And so, I mean, obviously I told them we'll help as any way we can, and we've reiterated numerous times, team up with us, come to our meetings.
Yeah, we've gone to theirs.
Yeah.
You know when the workshop's gonna be?
And I sent, George Solis. So.
Yours, Solis. Yours, Solis.
Solis, when I asked him, when is it? He hasn't responded though, so, but I know it's next month,
Yeah, it's soon.
but it's soon, yeah. I think
It'd
it's
just be nice to have the date, because we've attended, but we
Oh,
all
of
have a
course.
calendar.
right.
Of course, of course.
I'll find out what it is
They didn't know
and,
we were there either.
Huh?
Well, we were there, they didn't know they went there.
no. So we provided some assistance where we could. They were concerned of the lack of time between the presentation date and that day. And we reminded them that you can call another, special meetings in between. There has been notifications, there's a procedure, but you can do it. So I think they had a bit of an eye opener and they were gonna start, responding in that fashion. But I said, we helped where we could.
Anybody else? Anything else? On that matter? Okay, so the state fire marshals, I try to get it with the state fire marshals, I try to get it to the CFOs. I get it, but
You didn't bring
when you
it.
guys go, no, I said, we guys go, number one, number two. I don't know if you guys know or not, when you go there now, hopefully in February, March, everything's restructured. They've changed everything. The governor has, right or wrong, the governor has decided to, even the entrances, the Capitol, everything's torn apart. So when everybody's still moving in, you could imagine, people are still with boxes, people, that type of thing,
Chaos.
is going on. So I try to get to the chief financial officer, but they have moved to another location, not in the Capitol. And I still try to get into it, but he wasn't there and everything else. All that I know is Joe Buda will be the one. I may have to call Jones. Find out, get an update. What happened with the seismographs? Is that still on? Is that complaints? Are you still getting the complaints reports? All that, so
The website doesn't have it anymore.
they don't have it anymore.
Since March last
What
year.
happens is they have a new website.
But the original website's still operating and it has up-to-date official reports, not the complaint reports.
No, put it today because they're having a session today because.
Right. Yeah, that's another, this week, they're all out for something else. So they're doing immigration policy. They're doing immigration policy for the governor and everything else, and a special session that they have. Okay. Anything else on that? So I'm going to still work with that. I'll try to get an update from the chief fire marshal's office as to what are they doing with all these machines, any updates on complaints, how many complaints do we have? I don't know, at least how many complaints do we have? Last time was thousands.
Yeah.
I'll follow up with that. Any questions, anything else? Okay. Follow up with Miami-Dade County, Florida League of Cities, and Mayor Calvin, I think Steve and Herb are gonna do that. He was gonna follow up, I think, Mayor Calvin.
Steve is gonna follow up with Mayor Kava and Josh is gonna follow up with me. Okay,
Correct.
I'll forward me an email from the county that the county is looking at creating regulation for blasting. So the email was from the chief structural plan reviewer. And I called her. She had her number there, so I called her and spoke with her. I know her and she was a little bit taken aback just for lack of information, lack of knowledge. And she played devil's advocate. Well, in California, is this, that, and this? I said, California, you're on east or west of San Andreas Fault. So the code complies with seismic activity. Ours don't. It's also primarily wood construction there. Ours is not. Ours is designed for rigid. And we got into a higher end conversation on it that she was, again, she was taken aback with information. And I think she needed time to absorb and assess what I was presenting her. But I gave her my contact information, so I
can
don't
you
know if
give
any
me
questions.
again?
That was Lundy,
You interacted with me?
I can look it up.
yeah, wow, her first name is Lundy.
I'll pull it up.
Lundy, Lundy? Okay,
But she's got the whole
it's
name of it.
okay, she'll have it before I finish.
Aside
I'll
note
be
to
done
that,
when I walk out.
I think maybe the right time or not, but sometimes God is one.
Okay, you had 3 forms of communication, so that was good. Thank you,
And-
Gail.
It was, I was kind of blown away by the email, the initial contact. And they're actually doing something but I would suspect that it's the mayor, initiative at the county level, to the building permit level, to do something to enact this. So that shows our effects. We're doing, what we're doing is moving the needle.
We on it. And also tied to that, and I think I sent you some of that information,
Oh, Clark. Oh,
Clark,
first
Jeannie
name.
Clark.
for whatever reason.
Jeannie Lynn Clark.
And that's what I said, God, because sometimes God provides you with things that you don't know. And He does. The Coral Gables Town Hall is falling apart. Guess what? I got to Peter Iglesias and Douglas,
Oh, really?
the structural engineers who are doing the stuff. It might be the Blasty because of the new the new condos being built. I don't know if you've seen Coral Gables lately, guys.
Yeah.
That's
It's full of condos,
Yeah, but it's the pile driving. That's
the power driving, but still it causes,
The constant.
because that building has been around there for what, almost 100
Well,
something
it's-
years.
When I presented about Surfside, it's the same thing.
Well, exactly. So now, that I think has triggered also, what you're talking about, the county to get some type of blasting, not just dynamite
It's
blasting,
vibration,
but
it's vibration.
vibration.
Yeah.
Going on.
Wow,
So that's why I gave you those two names,
wow.
Douglas Wood and Peter Iglesias, like your part was they. In the future, we might need these experts, I don't know, whatever, but very important, is Coral Gables Town Hall is falling. There's cracks everywhere, and I've been in that piece, I don't know, but some of you have been, I'm sure you've been in that. And it's falling apart. It's sinking, it's just bad. How could that be?
Well,
It's a blasting of all the condos, the new areas, the new hotels, and all the new condos that have been actually built in there, the power.
can I have
Blasting
the names?
everything. Sure. Douglas Wood and Peter Iglesias, the structural engineers for Coral Gables.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
you mentioned visiting the state fire marshal on 3,
Yes,
state fire marshal's office. Can you elaborate as to what is the rationale of consulting the state fire marshal?
well, they're
as
the
to
ones that,
Complaints,
they're the ones that have, and as you know, they're the ones that are responsible for the blasting issues, in the state. The CFO's office, CFO is like part also of
Yeah.
the state fire marshal. I just went, we try to get some more information, try to get some feedback, what's going on. Hey, how we doing, that type of sort of
But
scenario.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that we were already past the issue of the blasting and the fire marshal in terms of getting compensation for the homeowners of Miami Lakes for the damage they've suffered from the blasting. Where's the connection?
I was just trying to see, follow up with them, because I haven't heard from them in a long time as to what's going on with the seismographs, the 23 seismographs. that they
And we
have
also
on-
have a new fire marshal and we
Plus-
haven't been in contact.
plus
It's
we have
change
a new-
occurred.
Hey,
But
So
for
that's what he was
Control.
trying
That's what I
to
was trying to do. Also trying to find
Get
out
us
for
back.
the
who the
do,
new person.
communication
who
again.
the
the
new-
benefit of all the people that are watching us and the people that may watch us in the future. I thought that we were already past the issue that the reason this damage is occurring and the reason people in Miami Lakes are not being able to get compensation for that damage is because there's a state statute
Correct.
that is impeding, preventing, stopping homeowners from being able to properly sue in court to the people that inflicted the damage on their property and getting compensation.
That's correct too.
We don't lobby to get people compensation though. Like, let's make that clear. Like, we're not out
It is
there
clear.
fighting. for
Nobody
us
said,
to
we
try
talked
to
about getting
compensate
lobbying at
anyone.
all.
Our purpose in Tallahassee while lobbying is to advocate for a message and have a larger buy-in of awareness. So Rudy going out there and trying to make contact with these people, the ultimate goal is not necessarily to check off a compensation box. It's to build awareness and a following so that if given opportunities in the future, they invite us to a
Appreciate it.
workshop
I
again.
understand that. I
Our
appreciate
presence
it.
exists there So that's,
Right.
I don't
I think
necessarily understand your question,
Yeah, I
is
think
what I'm
the
getting
issue-
to, because that's
you're-
not our
you're-
purpose of law.
what you're looking at, the problem is multifaceted. And you are focusing on one of the facets. It is only one of the facets.
That's the
Um,
only facet that concerns us.
No, that's not true.
That is true.
That is not true.
I don't care what the mining companies do. I don't care what the blasting companies do. All I care is that if they damage my property, and this is what the people out there understand. If the blasting companies damage their property, they want to know if they're gonna be compensated for that damage.
It's
They
not,
don't care why it happened. They don't care because it happened.
all right, but it's not the only issue, because the
It
issue,
sounds like we're playing games.
excuse me. The issue remains that if the compensation and we're made whole, all of us, our properties are corrected, the issue has to stop. Because if the issue continues, then what we're made whole, the property is damaged again. So it's a multifaceted, multi-pronged approach to what we're doing. So only focusing on one item, it's insufficient. So that's the point. So we're not just advocating, or we're not advocating for it to be made whole. We're not advocating to get paid. We're advocating for a problem and find us a possible plausible solution for this major problem.
Okay, I have a question for you. Do you think that the blasting defendants that have inflicted damage on the properties of Miami Lakes homeowners would be inflicting that damage if they had to pay for it?
I don't follow your logic there.
Do you think that they would be inflicting the damage that they're inflicting now if there was a way that
The miners you're talking
homeowners
about.
could be compensated for that damage and the blasting companies would have to pay for the damage?
They
You
would-
think they're gonna continue damaging?
I would expect not, but
You can
I can't
guarantee
tell
that.
you. I can't tell you either way, but I would.
You think it'll be profitable for them at that point?
I would think it's less profitable.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So that's what concerns the homeowners of Miami Lakes. That at present and for the last umpteen years, they haven't been able to get compensation for the damage that they suffered. Once people in this city, in this town, get compensation for the damages that they're suffering, I assure you, the damages will stop.
I would expect so. I would expect so.
Because at that point, it's not gonna be profitable to damage people's property. Right now, it is profitable because you can get away with it.
Right.
And why can they get away with it? Because of
The
standards,
statute protects them.
because there's a statute that protects them.
And the statute's based on unrealistic items.
It's based on not unrealistic items.
Oh,
It's
yes.
based on unconstitutional.
The basis of the legislation is unconstitutional, but
Yes,
the base of what they're based on is unrealistic. Two different things, but
Yes.
it's still the same issue, obviously, we're in agreement. But understand that the basis of what the legislation has been created from is incorrect. So,
no, incorrect assumes that it's a mistake. It's not a mistake.
oh, it's intentional.
It's intentional, so it's
Absolutely
not
intentional.
incorrect. It's not incorrect. These people have created a statute that protects them from getting sued. And in essence, gives them immunity from having to pay for the damages that they cause. We take away that statute and we don't have to worry about anything else in this board. Because the board is not here to regulate the mining industry, to propose regulation for the mining industry. The board is here to protect the homeowners of Miami Lakes and to ensure that if they suffer damages, they will be compensated for those damages. There's going to be a mechanism, a way that they can take this case to court and find people who caused the damage responsible and make them pay for it. Once we do that, once we settle that issue, there's nothing else to talk about. Because they're not gonna continue damaging if they have to pay for the damages that they cause. And I would think that the objective of this board, as it relates to our duty, our responsibility, our obligation to the homeowners and the taxpayers of this town, is to make sure that when blasting defendants inflict damage, they will have to pay our people, our residents, our homeowners for the damage they caused. At present, they can get away with it.
I think it's really important for us to look back at our mission, because we're, in a way, your opinion is overextending in what the mission of this board is. And as passionate as,
It's not a question of mission, it's a question of what the people out there expect of us.
because we're a committee
know-
that serves a specific mission, and that mission was allocated or assigned based on the need of the town, and that's what makes us sit here today. And our mission makes no mention of ensuring compensation for anyone. I'm not saying that we don't obviously advocate for that, of course,
I'm not
people are
advocating
affected, their
that.
homes are affected. But in order to come up with a robust plan to execute all facets of the things that are happening in the background. I don't think that the right approach to take is for us to criticize as much as it is to lend a helping hand in how we can execute it more effectively. I think each one of us has an area of expertise that allows us to be efficient in the areas that we are efficient, right? I'm not an attorney, and I'm definitely not a seismic scientist over here like Miguel. So now that you've expressed that opinion, like, how can you aid us so that we can properly address the community in those areas and in the need that you're saying? Because, you know, it's been mentioned in the past in previous meetings, your approach is a little more different than the traditional approach of reaching out to the CFO's office, like we've done in the past, or like what has been discussed in the past. But like, what would you like to do so that we could take that different approach? There was a letter that was discussed at one point that I can't remember
It was
the
gonna-
exact topic, but I remember it being in a set of minutes where we discussed that you were gonna propose
Yeah.
this letter to certain officials that we were gonna target as part of this multifaceted communication plan. And we have
It
yet to
hasn't
see that. It
realized.
hasn't been, so I don't think it's so much that anyone disagrees with you. I think, yeah, definitely it's something for us to discuss and consider. We can't make any guarantees for compensation. But let's explore that. Like, how can we execute that? You know, can we send a letter? Can we create a workshop here to meet with residents and see how we can figure that out? But, you know, if we're gonna stand behind a cause like that, then the person who's like proposing this needs to also take charge of how that communication is going to happen, right? So, how do you advise that you can be a resource in executing that?
Excellent. Did you see the report that was issued by this board? Written by Stephen Hertzberg, attorney Stephen Hertzberg,
Absolutely.
now councilman. You saw it?
Yes,
Did you read it?
of course.
And what did that report say about,
It
just
guaranteed
said.
compensation,
what did it
it
say
guaranteed
about
that.
what the problem is? And what the solution is? What did it say?
One of the
was very
goals is
clear.
to get blasting within a certain range so that it doesn't affect homes to the level of severity that it's affecting homes now.
Is that what it said?
Mr. Maestro, I don't really, question a line of, questionnaire towards Ms. Francesca. I really prefer if you communicated with me. And I really think
But
No, I
you
was-
didn't, you weren't talking, she did.
she did, but
So
I
why
see
would I
that this
talk to
is-
you about,
yeah, because it's a
Statement
line
made
of
by her.
question. I think it's going just around the road.
explain it to me?
Very simple. I think you should have been here the last 6 months. And if
Yeah.
you would have been here the last 6 months, you probably would have found out much more than what you're talking about right now. Unfortunately, you were not here the last 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 meetings. And that is an unfortunate situation that occurred. The blasting report that Mr. Stephen Herzberg proposed a 3-pronged approach to a variety of things. And one was a legislative approach that Ms. Francesca is just asking, is just relaying to you in committee. Your point that the statute is wrong is also very, very valid and it's active as we speak, as a matter of
And
fact,
being addressed.
and being addressed.
Mr.
But if
Chairman,
you would have been here, you would have realized that.
how many times does this board meet?
It meets once every month.
And when does it meet?
It meets usually Mondays at
Past
7
3 months,
p.m.
We have met twice.
and sometimes we've met
The
even
past
twice.
3 months, we've
I don't
met
know.
twice. a month.
Have you called me to find out why I haven't been here?
No, sir, I don't have to call you. This is a duty. I don't call any one of these people. Everybody knows that they have a commitment to
That's
be
true.
here at
That's
this their time. If you
Are you
cannot
aware?
be here, I would prefer if you call the liaison and let her know why
Are you
you
aware
can't be
why
here.
I wasn't here on January the eighth?
I don't know. Did you call me for it?
I
Did
talked to
you-
the
did you
liaison
call me?
about it.
I have no idea.
I have no reason to call you.
But, well then, I think your question is
You have no
answered.
reason to call
Then I
me.
think your question is answered.
Except, Mr. Chairman,
You-
Point of order
you-
through
you know.
the chair, point of order through the chair, I
Sure.
think. We're getting a little bit intense.
We are.
This is
That's
a
okay.
public meeting, I understand that, Mr.
we have a right to
Okay.
disagree.
Yeah,
as
allow
No,
long
we
as
have a
with
right to
respect.
disagree. Oh, no, of course. No, absolutely.
We agree to
Absolutely.
disagree, however, can we like change the tone a little bit?
Sure.
I would
sure.
have taken a little bit personal with Francesco also.
Well, that's
And
why-
I know him.
And I know him too, and I know him
That's
very,
just the way
even
he
before
is.
Francesca, I even know Eladio.
Don't you
But-
think that before you judge whether a person is here? or
I'm not
you-
judging anybody, I'm not here to
you-
judge.
You,
I'm
you
not
make
here-
comments.
I'm not here to
as
judge.
to
I'm saying
That I
because,
should have been here all these months,
well, I think so. Don't you think so?
and I have.
Since,
I-
The only month that I wasn't here was December. I was here in November. I was here in November and we talked about you going to Washington because of your cousin. You have a good relationship with,
Sure.
Marco Rubio,
Sure, which has nothing to do with this, you know, anything
which has
else.
nothing to do with it.
Right.
Well, after the meeting was over, we talked about it. So I was here.
Was that the,
we have
Was
a
it Amazon?
roster and he,
ever roster?
we have,
Okay, now,
we have a roster,
January eighth,
which has not been.
January.
January
Yes,
eighth.
it's
Was that a
up.
regularly scheduled meeting of this board?
That was a special call meeting.
Yeah.
That was a special call meeting, which became now.
Were you aware that this member was notified 24 hours before?
That I don't.
And that this member, on the day that the meeting was held, I sent in an email to the board's liaison explaining, asking, how come I was notified just 24 hours before the meeting?
I don't know that.
So,
Audio, you communicated with Al, with Isle?
Well,
Because
Yes.
at one time, okay, but at one time
yes,
we
and
had.
by the way, I never received a response. There was no answer to my email.
I don't have any more from you in January.
No, I
And
have a copy
you
of the
do-
email.
And just for the record, you do receive all the email communications that I send out to.
Yeah,
all the
no,
members.
I did receive on January the 7th at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Finally, yeah,
An email came in
Yeah.
to my email address. Okay, I didn't see it until the next day. And then I responded and I said, by giving me almost 24 hours notice, you forced me to miss the meeting. I can't change my schedule on such short notice.
Fair enough for me.
For clarification
Fair
to
enough.
all the board members, and I know Miguel, you just came back. We had a meeting August 19th, which was our regular scheduled meeting. We had a meeting September 16th, which had to be canceled because we had no quorum. We had a meeting October 28th, which was our regular meeting. We had a meeting November 18th, which was our regular meeting. We had a meeting, special call meeting 11/22, which we had to cancel because we had no quorum. Then we had a meeting December 6th. We had a meeting January 8th, which was the regular council meeting, and today's the 27th that we're having the special call. And since August 19th, the roster shows you absent, and we have no communication through our liaison from you.
Since August,
Since August.
19th.
yeah, and we didn't have a meeting on September.
Well, because we had no quorum.
Venerable.
So that's the problem.
Yeah.
So when she communicates with us, there's no quorum, instead of us coming here like we've been doing and having two meetings, we're just not, they're canceling them.
And
Because
then
we
the
don't have
December
quorum.
8th meeting, is not a regularly scheduled meeting,
December sixth.
or is it December sixth?
Well, because in December, they had a change in the council agenda because the report was gonna be issued on the 21st.
For whatever
So
reason,
we
it's
had
not a
to-
regularly scheduled meeting.
We had to,
Put on
Before the
website,
record,
it's public
yeah,
record.
for the record, as committee members, you guys are responsible for your meeting dates. My emails just serve as reminders, so please take note of that. And I do want to mention, you guys do a pretty good job of in your agendas or in your minutes, putting the next scheduled meeting.
Oh,
date.
I
So
know
although
that.
January
I know
8th
that.
was not the correct meeting, not the normal one,
you know.
it
I'm
was
very
discussed
able.
at the end of your last meeting. The
Yes.
same goes for tip.
I have to
So
put it in now.
the committee
Which is not a
members,
regularly scheduled meeting as well.
correct, but this is discussed
There you go.
This is discussed at the regular meeting, which is why they happen
There you
to
go.
know, and it is also on our website. My
So-
emails serve as a
It is on
reminder.
the website.
Mr. Chairman, it's not
No.
6 months or 4 months or 3 months. It's 1 month, which was December. And then because I wasn't in
That's
December,
just stated.
Yeah, all the ones you just stated.
August was when
That was 6 months.
Esther
worth
took
of
over as
meetings.
secretary, correct?
Yes.
Prior to that, Stephen was secretary. I don't know off the top of my
was here
head.
in-
what the
I was here in
attendance-
August.
No, the last meeting you attended per the attendance records by us, at that time, Stephen Hersberg.
The
was the
July.
July meeting, and
July
I
meeting.
have those attendance records.
yeah.
Because I had to take over after
Yeah,
Stephen.
yeah.
So
Okay.
that was the last official meeting you attended. However, these meetings are on the website. I mean, the agendas are on
They
the
are on the
website.
And they are on the meeting's website too, man.
So the town has no obligation to notify the board members of meetings and has no obligation to supply us,
Absolutely, it's on the website.
has no obligations to supply us with the agenda for that meeting.
My obligation as a liaison is to send you the agenda, which I. But the committee members are responsible for knowing and scheduling themselves accordingly for the meeting dates. They do choose to be a part of the board, and therefore that is a responsibility that falls on you guys as individuals.
Well, I think that we need to address the issue of
So we
prior
received today's
notice,
agenda
because
today, but
it's,
we knew it was a meeting.
you know, we're volunteers here. We don't pick up a paycheck on the way out,
That's right.
okay? And we have a life on top of that.
Absolutely.
So, you know, there has to be accounting on the issue of
It's a two-way
prior
street.
notification.
It's a two-way street. We're-
You're
we're all
referring
doing
that
the
you
same thing,
received
we're
the
not here.
agenda today.
You're the
Nobody
only
said
one that hasn't
otherwise.
showed up.
Right.
Yeah, but nobody said otherwise.
You're the only one that hasn't showed up.
Everybody has shown up.
Everybody's been here.
And not everybody.
Yeah, they
and I-
show, everybody's shown up. That's why they didn't have quorum.
And
Oh,
one.
But they showed up,
One-
but
one-
people
Only
saw you.
only
You missed it.
No,
on
everybody didn't show up.
September.
On one, because you weren't here.
Sorry,
You weren't here.
It
You were
was,
here.
sorry, but
Corona
not
wasn't
everyone
met
showed
because
up.
you didn't show up.
We're done.
Not everyone showed up.
Corona
If
wasn't-
everybody
if
showed
you
up,
had
we
showed
would have
up,
a quorum.
Corona would
Okay,
have been
if
met.
everyone
And that's what I was trying to say.
showed up, we would have had quorum for
Would
August.
have
But
had
look at
quorum.
all the
Thank
other
you.
meetings where we did have quorum. And it doesn't take a lot for us to have quorum because there's only
There's
4 or
only
5 of us
now
at any
five
given
cats.
time. So, you know,
will be 7 come next month.
right,
There is a-
and the more of us it is, so looking at you guys.
Oh,
Which
which the record to,
So, to make the point, I'll will send the agenda usually the day of. But you know that the next meeting, and we'll discuss this before the end of the meeting, because we
Yeah.
always discuss the date and the time. We already know what the date is, but just to let you know, she usually sends the agenda the day of. So calendar yourself, you know what, you're hearing what we're talking about, so more or less you can know what's on the next agenda. But she is not responsible to send it to you previously. If you want any clarification, you can always look at the town website. I mean, I'm not the boss.
so for the record, the reason that I was not here on January the 8th is because of the short notice that I received 1 day before at 3 o'clock on the 7th to come in at 3 o'clock on the 8th. That's too short of notice.
Okay, so
So
can we
as much
discuss
as
that
I
after-
wish to,
Can we discuss that on the new business when we
Sure.
set the next meeting date so we can
Mhm.
continue with the agenda through the chair? Is that okay with
Sure.
you? Thank you, sir. Can we move on to,
Listen, that's why I was on a.
the
Address.
legislative update? You had made a
Right.
mention.
I know that, I was talking to Tom when I was up there, as a matter of fact, Nikita, as a matter of fact. And I know that they have had a couple of problems with the building. And they've been trying.
Read some things with the wording when you go.
with the wording and everything else.
Right, but regardless, once it's up, it's gonna be posted,
It hasn't been posted as
my-
of today, nothing. has been-
My question to you is that the date dates are anticipated to be April 7th and 9th, like you noted.
Days, yes.
So,
7th through
My
9th.
question to you is, since we had a date of going up January, but since you went January,
Right.
we didn't go January, is that the target date you
In,
were
in between
expecting?
that, somebody,
Right,
yeah.
because Steve, the council had mentioned, if they go up in March, there's no reason for us to go in March. If
Correct.
they go up and, so,
Right.
you know, it's a
it's a
combination.
combination.
Okay, so we're waiting for the calendar of the council.
And of course, the bills. Avila bill
Well, you can't go
On the
up
second,
until it gets up, it's on the docket.
is on the docket.
It's not-
Yeah.
We need to resolve this issue about notice. Because
That's why I said we're gonna discuss it on the new business when we did discuss. Because at the end of the day, she works, we don't tell her what to do. She has to tell us what she's allowed to do.
no, I
But we will
understand,
discuss it in the
I
new
understand
business.
that.
I noted it.
but if we need to talk to the council to address this and resolve this issue.
Then we'll have to bring
then
it up
we'll
on
have
the
to
next
talk to the
meeting.
council.
Okay, let's talk about it on the new
You
business.
guys actually have an upcoming, committee report, so any concerns you have, you can add there.
Okay.
And
Because I
add it-
just noticed that in December, I too received the,
Can we discuss
At-
it on the
at-
new
at
business?
5
So we can.
We'll discuss it afterwards.
on
so we
December
can
5.
Continue to move
We'll
forward.
discuss it in new
please.
business.
It's a-
No problem, we'll discuss the new business.
The
Oh,
next
we'll
item is
discuss it.
the lobbying efforts. I believe you mentioned
The
that we
lobbying
spoke
efforts,
to
yeah.
Eddie Gonzalez and William Ray.
They're ready. They're ready to
They are
take
ready.
it, they're ready to take the initiative again and with the town of Miami-Dade's officials and everything else to go up there as needed to. So,
So they're
So we are
ready
done.
with Town of Miami Lake initiative.
right. And we've been working on the number H on a municipal workshop.
Okay, so I'd like
I
to
think you
speak
asked-
to you
go
about that.
Yes.
So I did send an
You asked me.
email to
Yes,
Isle,
Isle.
and I will send you, and I'll tell you why I sent that. Because at the last meeting, Francesca had mentioned a line item, which we can do internally. We don't have to go to the council. However, the last two workshops we've had, they didn't cost us anything. So if it's at no cost, unless, I mean, we have the same setup as the council. The only thing we did is, if it's like printing costs, they absorb it.
That there was cost in prepping the room.
He did not find any cost,
No.
Miguel.
So to be clear, I think the cost just didn't come from the blasting line item. I want to be very
Yes.
specific.
What do you mean?
We didn't pay for it.
In terms of, I think you guys may have requested to one of the council members for them to support
They
this-
sponsored it.
this,
No, but it's two different things. What she's mentioning is when we had a meeting,
the town hall in
in the
December.
in the chamber,
Yeah.
no, way prior. That we had to reset the room and there was a cost involved because
The handy, because it was outside of business hours.
Right.
Right. But I wanna mention, I would have to go back and check with our cost was, if there was any, because I remember we went back and forth about this, but to be very specific, it did not come out of a blasting line item, because you guys,
Okay.
your line item came
Technical.
about after that.
No.
And then your line item
Was
after
administrative
that,
costs.
very specifically, all the expenses were related to Tallahassee, because I looked at them today.
Right.
So if there was a cost, it was outside of the blasting
Right.
budget, is what I
So
want to
it
be clear
was
about.
absorbed by the administration
Right,
side.
right.
Which is a good thing. So the
Right.
only other thing you might need if you want materials, that's something that they print for you. So what cost were you anticipating when you asked for the funds that we don't have to go to the council to because it's below 700?
Right.
I mean, we don't even need that much money because we
So
want to
there
go to
was a
Tallahassee.
point in time where we discussed reallocating a portion of the 7,500. This was before,
I remember.
Stephen left, for a variety of purposes. Workshop being included in that group of things. So we also thought about doing, some type of marketing efforts and outreach. We discussed a lot of different micro options.
Okay.
And at the time, it was shut down because the money could only be utilized exclusively for travel.
Right, but now we can do an actual line item. We were always allowed to do that. There was a
But at
form
one
that
point,
Rudy
it was
filled
said
out.
that we
Right.
couldn't.
Well, it was always allowed. Whatever happened then, But the point that we need to get to is, are we having a workshop? Because we've been talking about this for 8 months.
That's what I was wondering.
So is it gonna be
Get to-
February?
Is it gonna be
Is it
February or March?
Is
Right,
it gonna
it's
be
gotta
March? Because in April you have
Yeah.
date days. You
Date
know that the
dates.
bill will be on that docket by April.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have it February, you're gonna have it March. I think you have to start thinking the logistics.
Okay.
What, let's,
Here.
why don't we get a date down? Because once you have that date, you know you have to start reaching out to the municipalities.
Right.
We have to send a blast, we have to invite the residents. Miguel, you and I know that when we've done, you've had a packed house, at least residents come, Miramar
Do
comes,
we do
so
it in a chicken
it
country club?
works.
Do
It
we do it
works.
outside of the,
Well,
Mm.
you wanted to invite municipalities to your house.
Right.
Because you're the one, this is the council that's supporting
Supporting everybody else.
the three-part initiative. So why would you want to go to the country club? No,
Correct.
this is in-house. The town is taking the lead on this.
Just, and I apologize.
No,
but
no,
for-
it's
for
okay. I
my-
just want a date because we gotta get this
Because I
down.
haven't been here.
I know.
What is the workshop? What are you encompassing in that workshop for?
So what they were saying is they wanted to have involvement of the municipalities. So for example, they wanted Doral to be a participant in the panel. They wanted, Miramar. They
Oh.
hopefully Hialeah Gardens, that wasn't working, Hialeah. So what they wanted to have was an outreach with municipalities involved in the panel, because before it was just us, remember?
So
So
a panel, or
to
who else?
outreach to the community.
Just community, okay.
Right, it's a community outreach and every city that every municipality that participates gets to tell their story. Because Miramar's story is different than, I can tell you, I live on the east, I have no blasting on the east, where I live. So everybody's story is different, everybody's story is different, and that's what we always wanted to do. If you want municipal outreach, then invite them to the table. So what we want to do is invite them to the table. And they don't know what the report says, Miguel.
Right.
So maybe our side tells them what we've done, and that's the purpose, and also the residents are gonna hear
And here,
what's going on. It's not, we need resident involvement, so we're also gonna communicate to them too. And this is the time to do it, but we need to pinpoint the
Yeah,
date.
no, I
Once you
agree with you
pinpoint the
110%.
date, then we can start the invites, then I'll know if, first of all, she's gotta look at the calendar, is the date available?
Right.
But it's gotta be done before April. I mean, when are you gonna do this? In
So-
March 28th, and then we're going to,
Right.
I mean, hello, we defeated the purpose. So
Yeah.
can you all look at the calendars, please?
So their days are the second.
April
week.
yeah,
7th
7,
to the
8,
9th.
9, Monday through Wednesday.
But remember, we don't know if it's March or April. That BAB goes because we're waiting for the. council.
Right, I just said that date days are the seventh to
April
the ninth,
7th to the
April.
which
9th.
is the second week of April. So ideally, spring break falls that
Okay.
last week of March.
Usually.
I don't think we should do it that week
I think we
because
should do it in.
nobody's gonna be here. Maybe early March or late February, like, Esther's saying.
Yeah, because this
know.
way,
Late February would be ideal, but it's short,
It's
short
shorter,
time.
right, the thing is,
well, today is
Yeah, sure.
January 27th. If
Yes.
you pinpoint a date, at least that date can be out on the website already. And the invitations can start. We all have, I mean, Steve has everybody's email. So Steve can do an invite for us.
Yeah.
Councilmember Carlsberg, but you're gonna get used to me. I call him by the names, as he used to say. He will be the first one to send first invite to everybody, because he's got it on his desktop. So I think if you can pinpoint a date and Isle says it's available, I think the last week of February is also a good date.
Would
Listen,
the,
we have a month's notice.
just a thought, would it not be more effective if if it came from the mayor?
The mayor, assigned, Councilman Hersberg as the intergovernmental
Agreed.
liaison.
Agreed, but if it's coming from the mayor,
So the
Then
mayor
that's
is
fine.
gonna be communicating with the mayors, the senators, the representatives, and Steve, this is the directive given by the,
Right.
Yeah.
and that Steve is gonna communicate with the municipalities. At the end of the day, we got both the best worlds.
right.
They're all gonna
They're
communicate with
gonna
everybody.
communicate with everybody.
we hope.
No, it's not we hope. We know Steve at least will communicate with the municipalities.
Oh, no, I know what's coming from our side, yes. We hope on their side that it's received and,
Well, but, all we can do is try.
Right.
I mean, we've always had a good reception, Miguel. And if people don't come, but you know residents are gonna come because
And the media.
you and I have attended at least 5 of them, and it's always been packed.
Yeah.
So can you give Isle a date in the last week of February through the chair, please? Just so
For
we
council
can-
chambers, correct?
Yes,
Yeah, Councilman King is here.
Would this be an evening workshop or?
it was
Well,
always
let's
an
see.
evening.
The 28th is a Friday.
No, so it can't be on a Friday.
Yes, it is. The 28th is a Friday.
I said, we're not.
Right,
gonna-
she's saying
February-
she can't
February
be on
20.
a Friday.
I'm just. just-
Remember, March starts.
March first is a Saturday.
Wednesday the 26th and Thursday the
Wednesday the
27th are available.
I
Okay,
think Thursday.
I
probably
think
better.
there's February, the,
That would
27th.
be the 27th, it's a Thursday.
so February
27th
the
of February.
27th
That's our meeting date.
is a
No,
Thursday.
no.
well, we're-
The 20
Meeting date is
The 25th.
the 24th on a Monday. It's not getting confused and then people don't know the dates.
Monday. Thursday.
What time? 7?
We
6?
started at,
6:30?
I would say 6:30, because you know what happens, right?
Right, it starts at 7,
Yeah,
so post 6:30.
so February 27th, and what's the other day? I don't know. Pick those two days.
She said that day was available.
Available.
So I
Yeah.
think we should just go with that one.
Let's go with
6:30.
February 27th, a 30th at 6:30, because Al says it's available. Let's
Right.
get it done.
Yeah.
We're going on.
I
3
block it
months
off
of
for like an
this.
hour and a half.
Yeah.
Probably longer than
2
that.
hours.
2 hours.
Yeah,
gonna
because
start
the
late.
people stay.
And we're calling this a town,
The B workshop.
B municipal workshop or just workshop?
Community municipal workshop.
Municipal, yeah.
There you go.
Let's include the community so
Community
they don't feel
municipal.
left out.
Mhm.
Municipal, so we're inviting the community and we're inviting the municipalities.
Sounds great.
Now that we're on that, will you send whatever, printed material to Isle, so she'll have it printed in
She
time?
already has it.
Okay, Isle, so you have the material already we'll need
the
for
one
this
from
workshop?
last.
So she already has the latest material, but I'll make something new
Okay.
for that work,
Okay.
but custom for that.
Okay, I just wanna make
Mhm.
sure.
So-
Yeah, I'll prepare.
Just to be clear, anything that's printed here, you know, like it's regular paper, this we can do for you guys at no cost.
Mhm.
It's when we have to outsource that we have to. do.
Yeah.
And we have
And
to
I
worry
will
about
work
costs.
But it's
with-
also limited how much you could print out of per
Yeah,
batch. I mean.
well, I mean, I think it's
We've been
great.
good.
Just send it to me and I think it's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
If there's any issue, I'll let you
I
know.
will work with, the chair with the, for the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will also ask, Councilman Hersberg if he can include Isle's information, because if somebody does confirm attendance, I think we need to know, so they're on the agenda, like, for
Of
example, I know that Rudy's gonna
Can
reach
you
out to
see-
Doral, right?
Right.
So if Doral
the
reach,
council
if
meetings.
Doral comes, they'll be on the agenda and they'll have a seat at the table.
Of course.
Miguel, if you can reach out to Miramar, then they can have a seat at the table, because he's gonna reach out to Doral if you, because you've been talking to Miramar. That's why I'm only gonna ask him, because you say you've been communicating with them. Because I think that, I think at least if we have 2 or 3 municipalities with us at the table, that makes a big difference. So if you can get Doral,
Right.
Miramar, who are highly affected. You know, Hialeah Gardens has been very difficult.
It's impossible.
Well, I'm just saying, so at least we all understand that Hialeah Gardens just doesn't communicate.
We've never,
Yeah, and the
Talk to the
county.
county. You're,
I still-
you're friends with Kappa
I
or?
never found anything there.
All right.
Got it.
You don't feel nothing there?
I
In
still go,
Hialeah?
I still go to
County,
San
you might
Martin.
wanna reach
So
county.
I grew up in
County,
the
it's
area
not-
The county.
and never felt about.
You don't
I'll
feel
speak
anything.
to,
Let me speak to.
So, any
Comments.
suggestion you
Comments.
have? Oh, for example, so, we did say we were gonna, do we have the BAB banner? I've been asking for that. It's $100.
Well, that's also one of the things that.
Okay, but
just.
I think that's what you wanted the money for, like marketing stuff, separately from the
Right,
trip.
so let's just, through the chair, can we just do the form and say $600? We don't have to go to the council for that.
Okay,
Right.
perfect.
Sure.
Do the max, the 750, so that way we get the full amount.
Okay, and if we don't use it, we send it back to blasting. Leave it at 7.
Whatever makes you happy.
It says first
Well, I
and third
know.
Wednesday of the month that they meet.
Sorry, what?
The Miramar.
say it again,
They meet the first and third Wednesday of each month.
Oh.
twice a month.
That makes sense, because that's why they didn't
They
know
have, like,
which
the
one they were
agenda.
attending yet, remember? Now, Esther, you mentioned working with Rudy on getting an agenda for the
Second.
workshop.
Well, like for
First and
example,
third Wednesday.
What do you
I-
guys
second.
want me to prepare in terms of presentation wise, right? Like, we
So,
have
first
things
and
that I
second.
already have
the
in mind.
presentation you already have done, we're talking about the actual agenda, so, call the meeting to order, the welcome, which will
Yeah.
be the chair.
Right, what I'm saying
Which I think
is
we had a
for
little
us to-
agenda from last time.
Yeah, we do
I kept it.
We have an
Yeah.
agenda, so we're gonna
We should prepare it.
duplicate the
in
same
September.
agenda. Yeah, we're gonna duplicate the agenda, just change
I have
the
that agenda.
Miramar goes,
I have that agenda.
introduce, and then they'll
Yeah.
give themselves a little hi.
Who opens, who closes.
Yeah. So we have a sample, maybe you didn't see it.
I have, we prepared it in September.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have it.
But
I
we
have
don't
it,
wanna
you do.
show something like on an actual screen.
Yes,
physical.
no, of course, we have to do.
Whatever is produced. we did,
Whatever.
Yeah, and that was,
Make a
was,
PowerPoint.
you got up and you spoke. You have to have, welcoming. There's gotta welcome. So if look in September in your stack, you might have.
I
it.
have it.
Well, if you have it, maybe she has it. Doesn't matter, remember, I agree that if we have to meet and have a special meeting, just a little committee meeting for the workshop, I agree to be on that committee.
We're gonna have to, I think we're gonna have to do that.
Okay, so-
Because we have so little
So
time.
I make a
from-
motion that we have a little workshop committee,
I second your motion.
okay, I have
Can we
no problem
identify the date?
participating on that committee, would you like to
Let me finish
participate
with
in
the other
this?
one on the meeting and then I'll.
Yes, I will.
Okay,
This is
and then
stuff
I
we-
know. I know you're new members, so if you get sworn in before, try to get sworn in as soon as possible.
Yeah, so in order to get sworn in, I just have to show up, call. and-
Yeah, call the town clerk.
I got you, no problem.
Have you been appointed though? I know you've been appointed because I heard your name at the last council.
No, they both were appointed.
Both were appointed.
So this is their
So it's just the
attendance
swearing
meeting.
in.
This is their
Oh,
attendance
okay.
meeting, and then they have to get sworn in. Like, for example,
Okay.
just to let you know, Miguel was here last meeting, but he was sworn in after the meeting.
Let me see.
Because I got a little email from the clerk's office.
Oh, really?
Yes, because you shouldn't have been voting, because you weren't sworn in. But she probably didn't know that.
Did they do away with the record?
Was
Sorry,
going
can
on
you
that?
repeat
We're gonna
exactly
talk
at the
about
town
that.
clerk's office that you satisfied the meeting requirement?
Dan,
No, the
Daniel?
requirement meeting
and last
chair.
name is Monticello. that's
It was one
M-O-N-
meeting and one meeting chair.
T-E-C-E-L-O.
I'll let them know that you attended tonight.
Appreciate it.
But then the Francesca.
Well, that's why I
No,
wrote
it's
your
not
name.
fun.
Okay, so, the next thing, item of discussion, and I think I need us to really pay attention to this, is the certificate of appreciation discussion. So in December, not
Take a
only,
copy.
yeah, not only did we name the individuals, I personally did send it to Isle, and they were gonna be signed by the chair and the mayor. Okay, so that was already discussed in December. Then when I look at the January meeting, which one of the votes is invalid, which was Mr. Martinez, I noticed that somebody made a motion to change it to go back and include everybody with a criteria of 7 in attendance,
Six
6 in attendance.
So
So the
meetings.
reason I
Six
haven't,
meetings.
okay, right, so the reason I have an issue with that is because the list that we got through our liaison goes back to 2019, but you don't have records to 2019, attendance records. So how can you change your first of all, how can you change your criteria from 1 month to another when we already had done this?
Correct.
This was done, I did this in November.
Oh, but I had no clue that this was. done.
This was
But
all
okay.
done in November. And then December, we voted, we have the minutes that reflect who was gonna get it, and then you have a meeting in January and you decided to change the criteria when you have no measurement for the criteria. So I just have a recommendation. Can we please stick to what we agreed in the November meeting, verbalized and memorized in the December meeting? Not only were the certificates done, if you decide to go back to 2018, which is when we started,
Right,
you don't have attendance records for that. So you can't meet that 6,
Minimum,
They-
because you can't prove it.
You
But you
can't,
can't-
you can't go wrong.
When we discussed it on the day that we voted for it, it was also
January.
discussed that we would go back to see if we were missing anyone. Because we listed
was
people
41
just based
41
off of
people.
No, that's going back,
memory.
that's going back to the original.
Original.
Right, but the ones that we did not go off of memory because I'll send us, the names that we had in December was not from memory, was from a list we did get from Isle. And that was discussed in December. Yeah, she emailed it to us. She emailed the list. That's how I came up with this.
41.
No, she emailed the list in November, back when we did this one in December. Oh, I have it. You know, I keep everything.
No, I'm glad you do.
That is
because I
how
don't
we
recall
came
that.
up, that is how we came up with this list, and that's how I gave her a sample certificate, which then she had her department.
Oh, I think what I had sent you guys originally was the ones just of last year,
Yes.
rather than
Oh,
entire history.
okay.
2024, 2025, which is what we stood by, because that's the only thing that you have a criteria for. You can't go back to the beginning when you don't have an
When you don't
attendance
have
record.
attendance. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that at all.
Okay, so I'd like to stay back with what we agreed in November and we approved in the December meetings. And these are done. They've been done, by the way, since November. This is.
Right.
Well, we
No,
did
no,
make
I
some
know they
edits
have.
to it, so they
Yeah, but
had.
it's-
Right,
Yeah.
it was back and
So-
forth, it was there.
But I wanted to share so that you guys know what it would look like.
Well, I think this looks great.
It only has
Very
one
nice.
member's name, I mean, you guys can
I
also
saw it.
copy,
Yeah, I think it's great.
it's all the same, they're just copies.
I think they're great.
Yeah.
I think it looks
I
great.
think it was very nice. Very nice.
So I'll
So we
just
went
get them
back to
signed then.
2024.
I second your motion,
Okay. Thank you.
because it makes sense.
And we have, so we're done. So moving forward,
Plus,
I'm sorry.
I think I'm not, my memory's not perfect, but I think that when I proposed that the outgoing members get an appreciation certificate, it was from that, from the
From the date of
recent
the
past.
motion.
Yeah, that forward, because we discussed, if I'm not mistaken, the difficulty in going back and
Yes.
researching and digging out.
Right, who was here, who was
Attendance
at that time.
So then moving forward, now we start 2025, I already have the attendance
course,
record.
yeah, we
And
don't have to
then
worry
we
about
can move
No,
forward.
we don't.
And then the criteria, what criteria do you want to stick with the 6?
I think
Okay,
we should.
so then,
Adopt
so
after
the
future.
criteria will be the 6, which was already approved in January. I just wanna,
Correct,
I wanna put everything on the table so we don't have a disagreement later.
correct.
Okay, thank you. So the next item
New
is,
business. Well, I haven't heard back from anybody. That's you, in that sense.
well, he already gave you a
He already
verbal
gave
meeting in the sunshine and then the
Correct.
meeting of January 21st, he told you that that was the
Right.
report. So, the next item is,
We have a podcast with
podcast.
the Emily Chamber, I think. for-
Who's gonna do the first podcast?
We could all be there, that was
I,
invited,
I think,
it was invited for all of us. All
I
of us
think you should just
participate.
pick one
with
person and start it. Do the
Okay.
first initial.
I'll find out when it's gonna be first and then
Okay, can we
what's the
anticipate
availability,
February?
the availability. It might be February, I gotta talk to.
Like
Fred
what Chrissy
sometime.
Braga, that you were
Yeah.
campaigning in December?
Yeah, have you seen Fred's, the Chambers podcast?
Mhm.
Oh, we used to have
Chair,
it here.
maybe you
Now they
can
have
do,
it at,
Chair,
at
maybe
American.
you can do the first podcast and
right to the
introduce
booth.
and let them explain what the mission is, what the blasting is, and then after that, the following month,
You-
maybe
you wanted
Gail
it.
can do it, the following month, Francesca.
You want as many people, or it's, I gotta see the,
No, I'm just saying, if you
Sure.
take the lead and do
Sure.
the
I'll talk
first
to Fred.
meeting, yeah,
I'll talk to Brennan.
and if
We'll
you
work
could
it
do
out.
one in February, we
That would be great.
appreciate it,
I think you
because
wanted one in February.
we do have a workshop slated for February, and it would be nice if you can
Exactly.
communicate that message.
Exactly, that's what he wanted.
So since you also are a member of the board for the Chamber of Commerce for Miami Lakes, I think you can make this happen, right? Mr. Blanco?
Of course.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The next item is the Tallahassee
Well, that's-
trip,
I think
and
we kind
we're
of
waiting,
mentioned
it's
it,
either
right.
March or April.
March or April.
So we won't know that until our rep tells us what's the story. And we communicate well because it's represented in the room. The next item
It's
that
a miss,
we
a
added,
miss, yeah, we
we
a
added,
miss to the notice. situation with the town, I guess, right, and everything else.
Right, so the next item, member Eladio Mesto, if you can take the floor, please, and tell us your thoughts on notice. Because that's something
need
that
to
only
request-
I'll,
Request the town council to
I don't think we have to go.
be
through the
more
council.
specific. Or, yeah, I think we have to go to the town council, for the council to instruct, I guess, the town manager. And then the town manager would set up instructions for whoever's the liaison for the town and the board as to when notices need to be sent out
Oh, committee meetings.
of committee meetings.
Arnold, can you clarify, you get your direction from Claricel, right?
Correct.
Is this something that we'd have to go to the council, or is this something that,
Whatever you guys
maybe-
feel more
There's a chair,
comfortable with.
the chair meeting is coming up.
Yep.
That Could be discussed
That,
then.
that could be discussed there.
That was shared with all
What are
of
we
the board members.
discussing?
as well.
The no-
Giving
Notice,
members more notice,
That was-
but don't we get 1 month notice?
no, the
Yes,
official
we-
notice that went out.
no, time out, yes, we do have a month's notice, what Eladio wants more notice in getting the
The
agenda.
agenda and
And the
Because,
reminder from Aisle,
they might have a month.
And the reminder.
okay,
The reminder and the agenda are the same thing.
okay.
Yeah,
And now
just so you know,
I'm
separate.
100% because I was a little.
I mean, as of right now, my direction is to share the agenda.
Correct, but can they be separated? Or
So
can-
that's why
can
I'm
we-
saying the reminder, for me to meet, what I have to do for the committees is I have to
Right.
share the published agendas with you guys. After it's been published, I have to share it with you guys.
right,
Right.
so I am,
As of right now, I don't send reminders. It's not, the reminder is built into the agenda.
right,
Agreed.
so I'm
But-
making
but
a
Maybe
comment.
that could be what the
Right,
request
so I'm just
is.
letting you know that right now, that's what I do. If that's what it sounds like, he's requesting.
The
something
reminder
different.
and the agenda are one and the same.
But the agenda, the
No.
issue is the agenda and a reminder, and a
The
reminder.
issue
can be
is that
sent
I
after.
don't, as of right now,
An agenda has to be sent after the agenda has
Yes.
been, there's a process. for the
after I
agenda.
receive it, it's published. and I
So
send it to you
if,
guys.
if the reminder and the agenda can be separated, then it's actually two notifications
Right.
that
Right.
are going out.
Well, then you
Right.
put
I
in an
just-
extra
I-
burden.
Going based off the committee rules, my job as a liaison is to share the published agenda. As
Okay,
of right
so-
now, it is not my,
What's the
as of right now, I
deadline?
don't have a direct
That's-
duty of
but that's the
sending
point,
an
that's the
additional.
request.
Can
Well,
I
that's
make a
what I'm telling you.
recommendation?
So I think it sounds like that's a request you want us to put in, and you guys can, you guys can put in any requests. you
Can I
like.
make a recommendation? We have a committee chair meeting. Can you
Yeah.
bring it up at your meeting?
And
When
you
is-
guys are
when is it, by the
welcome,
way?
you guys are welcome to.
When is it?
Send an email to all of you about the committee chair meeting.
What is
Okay,
it?
so
It is
can you
next
bring it
week.
up?
Yeah.
It is next week,
I
have-
know.
Tuesday, February
For
4th.
example,
So this
I
is
will
my
help
second
you
Tuesday,
committee
February
report.
for that meeting.
Tuesday, February 4th at 6 P.M.
in the case of the December 6th meeting, I have an email coming in with the notice on December 5 at 5:30
Okay,
something in the afternoon.
here we go. Here's what I think. I think the issue is,
We already brought all that out. I
Yeah.
think let's
more,
move
more,
forward.
when do we, by when is there a cutoff
For what? Sorry.
to notify us? Of the
So
agenda?
what I have to send you guys is the agenda. You have to remember that I have to fall in line. The
She's
agenda has to
doing
be
it the
sent to
right
me
way.
first.
She's doing it the right.
Well,
way.
just so you guys know, I can't send you the agenda until it's been sent to me.
That's
it's
true,
been
too.
published, So that
That's
kind of
true.
cuts it short.
That's true.
I have a question,
That's true too.
not a topic for discussion, it's just a question. When is the agenda due to you
Three
for it to
business-
go on
3
the
business days
website?
before.
3 business
business
days, but
days
we've been
before.
very lenient.
Yes.
We have,
Very-
and we've been taking it up to 48 hours before, because then that's it. That's the official, like, sort of
The
cut.
official.
You know, there's a statute
Okay.
requirement we have to meet.
Yeah.
No, I
And
just.
we
that's
have to
been
have
the
a
little-
meeting in the 3
that's
days, 'cause
been
it's not
the
gonna hurt
gray area.
either.
Yes, and
She
I
doesn't
just
work on
wanted to have the
weekends.
timeline clear, because, you know, you've been sending the reminders / agenda 24 hours prior to the meeting. I wanted to understand when the deadline for you to receive that agenda is, so that I could know. That's why I said it was just a
So-
question, not.
Just how it's done right now, the earlier I get the agenda, the earlier I send it out to you. Kind of how that is.
Okay.
But I will tell you on your end, again, that is me fulfilling the committee
If-
rules, is sending the agenda.
Agreed and understood. If a request, or if we requested it, if it was stated that a week prior, a full week, just a blank email, don't forget.
That can't happen unless she has the agenda. The
I know.
agenda.
No, he's
No,
saying
not the
separate.
agenda,
He's
just a
saying
simple.
He's saying
Oh, a
separate.
A
notice.
reminder.
A notice.
I don't,
Reminder.
I don't wanna waste your time on this. I'm gonna ask you to please
Okay.
reach out to, you
Well,
know,
do it
my,
at the
I'm
workshop.
gonna ask you to please reach out to the town manager,
I
to
will.
the director of the
will.
department, and then
But,
based
but
on
that,
that.
that's a
we
doable
can
thing,
go on
no?
that.
Or is that an issue?
This, the issue.
If you tell me it's an issue, I won't reach
Okay,
out.
yes,
And
I am
just
gonna,
don't
no,
wanna-
no,
No,
I
I
can
just,
defend you.
I'm
I
not,
am gonna tell you there's an issue coming from the clerk's office. That
Okay.
I've sat there many a times. If she sends out that notice a week before and the chair does not meet the agenda deadline, which is supposed to be 3 days before, so if the meeting is on a Monday, she should have that agenda on a Wednesday. If she doesn't have it on a Wednesday, how do you want her to send out a notice a week before?
Oh,
And that has
it's
been the case.
Okay, but
That's
it's two
true.
separate things, and that
But she
condition,
can't send a
we
notice,
can't,
but she can't send a
deal with
notice.
that.
Yeah, but I see
Honest.
what she's saying.
She
too.
can't
Because
send a
the
notice.
I see all
week
the,
before She says,
oh,
hey,
yeah.
on Wednesday, it's your meeting, don't forget Wednesday is your meeting, but then she doesn't receive the agenda on that day, then is she expected to send
No, I
that?
understand.
You know, I
And it's not our-
understand.
we don't-
And
that's
that's occurred the
Oh,
last
that's
3
occurred.
meetings. Let's not kid ourselves. Let's be honest, because Isle
Okay,
has been stretching herself and sending it to us because she's also been receiving it late.
correct.
So I don't think
I'm
it's
not
fair
complaining
that,
about time frame.
yeah.
I actually do not see, this is just my personal opinion, I do not see an issue with how IO is disseminating
doing it now.
information to us.
Mm-hmm.
I see
Neither do
zero
I.
issues, let me finish, because when you stated your opinion, I didn't interrupt you. I see no
backing you
issues,
up.
but if we are going to implement something new, then it just needs to be consistent. But I don't see a need in having to bring in managers and all kinds of stuff. If we say from now
I
on,
mean,
the Monday before the meeting, the agenda's due, no problem, she's gonna send the reminder.
I think that's right.
If you, I understand.
so in other words, she agrees with the current method.
Right, that exists, right, the problem is other committees are not compliant with that. That's where the problem comes in.
Okay.
I can offer you a
Sure.
solution, a small solution that may or may not work for you guys, but on the town
Thank you.
calendar, there is a button that says add to calendar, and that would be you guys adding it to your own
I've seen
calendar
that.
to serve as a reminder.
I've seen the town has.
There you go.
Town has a
Perfect.
calendar.
Again, that would take you guys going into the website
That's it.
and doing it yourself.
Going forward, since we're talking about meeting times, can now we discuss what our new meeting dates are? Because last meeting,
Okay, hold on. So, let's go back again. We're talking about
Notice.
the notice. So my question is the chair gonna discuss it in his quarterly? Are we gonna keep it as is, or is he gonna try to see if he can get advance notice? Well, that, we're talking about notice.
Keep it as
That's
is.
true. The chairman
Um,
gave me the floor.
I didn't see you.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
He gave me
Yeah,
the
I saw
floor.
him, I saw him.
I'm writing it.
I saw him. Go ahead, go ahead.
Project, I fully support what you said. We don't have a problem with, Iceland. What we have a problem is with a lack of a, standard,
What you
A
say,
lack of-
consistent.
which is different. We need to establish a standard for communications between the town and the board.
right, and
We are very proud of I am proud of the work that she's done, and I don't have a problem with her work.
Right, but-
We're very happy and I'm proud of it.
you also
But-
said that 24 hours as a reminder is not enough,
It
right?
isn't.
So that's how we've been doing it for the last couple months. And that reminder comes after several weeks' notice of us discussing the
Well,
next meeting.
When a regular.
So really, the meeting was, the members knew with 2 to 4 weeks anticipation on a minimum.
That's
Then
not true.
I followed up, depending on when the
That's
previous
not
meeting
true.
was, we said, okay, then let's go back to the minutes.
That's not true. And the reason it's not true is because we're talking about a December 6th meeting is a special meeting. It's not a regularly scheduled meeting. And the January meeting is a special meeting. It's also not a regularly
Which
scheduled
was
meeting.
scheduled within 2 to 4 weeks. With 2 to 4 weeks of notice.
If
We didn't decide to
The
meet on
notice-
January 7th
the
and
notice
then
is
met
only
on January
given-
8th.
the notice is only given if that board member was at the prior meeting. But if the board member was not at the
Okay.
prior meeting, and
That,
this meeting that is coming up is a special meeting,
okay,
we have no notice.
so the fact that the town of Miami Lakes puts it on the calendar is not notice? That
No,
is not a way of
No.
notifying you as a member?
no.
Does everybody agree with
No,
that?
no,
No, because the
I-
official notice is the town website.
no.
The
So then
statute
are we
requires them
discussing
to know-
opinions?
I don't
here, or
live
are we
around the
discussing-
calendar of the town of Miami Lakes. I'm sorry.
Listen, we're all professionals here, and as
Well,
professionals
it's not
and as
professional.
volunteers,
It's not
we should look at
professional.
the calendar.
It's not professional, it's not professional, nor is it adult behavior for anyone to expect all the people around this table to set their lives around the calendar of the town of Miami Lakes and have to go into a website on a regular basis to find out, oh, let me see if there's gonna be a special meeting. No, there's not a hundred people here. So it's not that difficult.
And you don't think that as a volunteer of this board, it's also your responsibility to watch a meeting that you missed?
No, I think it's a courtesy and an obligation and a duty of the town to treat its volunteers with more respect than having to force us who do not get paid for our work here to be checking on the website of the town of Miami Lakes on a regular basis to find out if there's gonna be or not gonna be a special meeting.
Okay, through the chair, Ladio, I think I have a solution.
Go ahead,
Rudy,
go ahead.
when you have your next meeting in February fourth,
Fourth,
can you ask for a courtesy notice to be sent out prior to? But the courtesy notice cannot be sent out until she receives that agenda.
Obviously,
Which she has sent us a courtesy notice every single time we've had a meeting.
A courtesy notice, so if she gets the
So what
agenda
are we
on
really
it,
asking
if
for?
she, okay. Instead of getting a notice the day of the meeting, he would like a notice prior to the meeting, not like today. She sent a notice out today. He feels that was not sufficient notice. I am just saying,
You guys have to
24 hours is
understand,
not
and just,
sufficient either.
I don't mean to
As a
go over this
courtesy
issue.
notice.
If I receive the agenda Friday end of day
It's
and
not
I'm
gonna
sending
happen.
it today, I'm still doing it within a timely manner. We're talking
Right.
about less than 24 hours.
mhm.
So I want you guys to understand that. And that's all I can.
He just
give
wants
you.
a courtesy notice prior to the day of the meeting. He wants a courtesy notice prior to the date of the meeting and not on a weekend. So can you,
right to the regular meeting, sure.
prior to the regular meeting and not on a weekend? So if the meeting is on Monday, he doesn't want the notice
but-
at 3 o'clock on a Monday of the day of the meeting. He wants it
course.
before.
but if it's going to be a special meeting that wasn't agreed upon in the prior meeting, if somebody misses that prior meeting, they're not gonna know about the special meeting. At that point, 24 hours is woefully insufficient.
Okay, so
To
then in
give-
addition to, if
Or-
the person is absent, you want that person notified of when the next,
Absolutely, and we have a solution to that as well. If, because of the short notice, they were unable to attend, then that absence will not be held against them.
Are we voting for this motion? Like, I'm trying to understand
I'm
the
gonna-
objective here.
Time is running out. I have
Yeah.
to
well, we
really
still
leave
have-
and go to the route, and, I'm just gonna cut this with this. We're all adults here. Everybody's responsible for the time. Everybody should know that we have a blasting meeting every month. And I think everybody has their phone numbers. And we could each reach out to each other, one way or another,
or to.
and just ask, when's our next meeting? I just did that for my economic development committee meeting, which is tomorrow. And I think that's all I ask. Anything else, guys? Please just let me know. That's all that I ask. I don't ask anybody
So,
else. And I'm sorry if I disrespected anybody.
You
I
have not
never do that.
disrespected nobody.
I never do that and never get out of hand. But it has to be that way. We're responsible. I mean, I know I have to be here for my meetings every month. And if it's economic development, which I'm not even the chairman of, what it is, I'm there too.
And Rudy, we
But
don't have a
Can we
problem
make
with
a
it.
motion?
if there's,
But there's a special
motion
meeting.
and notices, yes. Now, what happens in
We have a
Iowa is,
special meeting.
what happens in
Not
Iowa is,
scheduled
if
regular.
you're not in a regular meeting, you don't know if there's a special meeting.
Exactly,
So it works, yeah.
that's exactly, so
Yeah.
listen. I don't
Yeah,
have a
both-
problem with
both
Mike,
ways.
let's say Mike misses a special meeting, or
Right.
Francesca, I don't have a problem with that. As long as we're not gonna hold them as an absence,
It's a special
as
meeting.
an unexcused absence. We have to give people, we gotta cut them some slack. You know, you cannot, be so draconian. And I propose that if that's the situation, then you have an excused absence.
Absence.
Well, I believe that,
2 out of 7 meetings,
excuse me, I believe that special meetings are not your normal. So your
Correct.
attendance,
Yeah.
your attendance is
We
required.
applied for them in advance.
Okay, so your
Absolutely.
attendance is required at regular
Regular
council
attendance
meetings.
meetings.
When I do attendance, I know regular and special. That's how my attendance is.
Right.
That's it.
So, can we move forward?
Move on.
The next item of the agenda are the elections.
Elections. Do we need those out?
Those have to be done.
Done?
Yeah, because.
It has to be done today.
Okay,
Um,
go ahead.
The
Make those
first
up.
position is, I make a motion to nominate Rudy Blanco as the chair.
I accept.
Is that a second and an accept?
Second,
Is,
Roll
can
call.
can I
Is
have,
anybody
can I have a question?
discussing? No,
This is
go
my
ahead.
first real election.
Sure, go ahead, go ahead.
Can we nominate more than one person and
Yes.
vote
Or,
Yes.
Worse.
before we move on?
So-
Yes,
Like,
yes, they were just rushing through. but
So
yes.
I
No,
made a
yes.
motion to nominate Earl Blanco, hold on a
Okay.
second, please,
And he accepted.
for Perez. Second
And I nominate.
by, I'm not finished,
Sorry.
by Eladio. And accepted by Earl Blanco. Roll call. Esther Cohen, yes. Blanco,
yes,
Mesto,
yes.
Francesca.
I thought I could nominate someone too.
Yeah, we'll do that too.
But Esther, if I may, the way the other committees do it is they do dominate the nominations first, so like that, if there's more than one, they select the vote of who it is.
Okay, so we already got this one. Go ahead, Francesca.
Okay, so I nominate Miguel Martinez.
Motion by Francesca.
Can we nominate? Is it done one position at a time?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait,
Yes.
okay,
We're next.
okay.
So we're doing the, so it was motion by Francesca. For Miguel, second. Motion dies for lack of second. The
Oh.
chair,
Oh, good. No, go ahead.
the chair remains, Rudy Blanco, roll call. Esther
Okay.
Colin, yes. Eladio,
Yes.
Rudy,
yes.
yes. Francesca,
Yes.
Miguel,
Thanks.
yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just go. Okay, I called Martinez, so I have to stop this. I actually write Martinez like all of a sudden.
Can you have like two vice
Um,
chairmen or two
no.
secretaries, or anything like that? No.
The next, don't.
The chamber we
reinvent
do,
the
no,
wheel.
we do.
Oh, that's the
I know,
chamber,
I
this
know.
is government.
I know.
The second position is for the vice chair. Is there a motion for a vice chair?
I nominate Miguel Martinez.
Is there a second?
Second,
Are there any other nominations for the vice chair? Roll call. Chairman,
yes.
Francesca. Esther, yes. Eladio,
Yes.
Rudy,
Yes.
I mean Miguel, you didn't accept.
No, I accepted.
I accepted you both.
Yeah, but you freaked me out calling me Rudy,
Yeah.
looking at me.
Because you forgot to accept. So it's like- so you accepted you
live.
voted yourself. Yeah, this is like a freaking long meeting.
Then I nominate for secretary. Ete Colon.
Okay.
Third. And fourth and fifth. I'm for her.
Eladio,
I'm over her.
second Rudy, roll call, please, and I
I
accept,
seconded.
Francesca, Francesca,
Yes,
second.
second.
I accept, roll call,
Yes.
Miguel,
Yes.
Francesca,
Yes,
Gladio.
unanimous.
Esther, yes. Okay, open discussion, for the record, the next meeting was already discussed that it would be held February 24th. I think the only thing that, I believe I and Francesca had a question on was the date, because we have been meeting earlier in the previous meetings. So is that a
Yes,
question you
but-
still have, Francesca?
And the recurrent.
Yes, and the recurrence of the meetings, because
Of the
remember, we were
recurrence
the
of the
third
meetings,
Monday.
according to Isle, if you read the tapes, are gonna be the fourth Monday of
Right,
every
fourth.
month, so
Yeah,
that
but she
means,
wanted to go back and
confirmation.
check, yeah.
okay. So I already checked, she said the fourth Monday of every month, so if that's the case, that means February 24th, and then March 24th.
Right.
So I'm already giving you 60-day notice of meetings.
Yeah.
So your two next meeting dates are February 24th, March 24th. If there is a special call meeting, we will discuss it
It's the
within
third
one of those
Within,
meetings.
within one of
It's
those
the third
meetings.
Monday.
No, she
No, the
said it's
fourth
the
Monday.
fourth Monday.
That's what she wanted, yeah, you guys used to be the third.
There's a possibility I will be out of town
Then
on
you
that
got-
weekend.
then you got-
Okay, let me just write this down. So that's the fourth Thursday of every month, and remember,
Fourth
Monday.
fourth Monday, we had to change that because of another conflict with another meeting.
Yeah.
So the date. The time,
The time is,
fourth Monday of every
Make
month.
How's
yours
the
for the taking because I don't have anybody else at that. on
Oh, which
the-
one?
Like, whenever you guys, right now I have you set for
20th of
7.
February, what do you have?
No, for like the entire year, I have you guys set up for 7 PM, but let me know if you wanna change it. I mean, the room is pretty open
So,
that day.
right,
What do you guys prefer?
so Francesca,
It was up to me, we.
Ella, do you have anything
10 a.m.
earlier or?
Are your meetings usually?
Yes,
What do you
well,
have?
the
Since you're
last
here.
couple of meetings that we've had.
We usually
were
have it at
3
7.
Yeah, but the last couple of meetings we've had at 3
At
p.m.
3 p.m., true.
We've done it at 3 p.m.
True.
And no, there's no conflict with anybody because Isle can be here. So that's what we were discussing, and we can go back to the
I'll
3
have to-
p.m. that we've been having.
I prefer 7.
Okay, well, with
Okay.
his
I don't
1,
mind.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7
Yeah.
members now.
I would love
I,
the earlier.
I
the
have
better.
no problem with 3. You have a problem with 3, Rudy?
No.
You have a problem with? You
It
have a problem with,
depends.
oh, you don't. You
It
have a
depends.
problem with 3?
If I put it on my calendar and it's set, it's
It's
not
always
gonna
gonna
be
be
a,
the fourth
if
Monday.
it's, so it won't be a problem for
Okay, so
me.
that's
I don't.
5. You have
know.
a problem with 3?
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
you have a problem with 3. So 5, okay, and 2, not okay. Well, you can discuss it among yourself. I'm only taking.
No, we're talking about the special, we
The
need to.
times, no, for the regular.
That
In
is,
general, right, but
that's something else we'll discuss. Let's
Okay,
get
but I
this
thought that
over
the
with.
regular meeting was set at the fourth Monday.
Yes,
It
and
is,
she's
it is.
giving us
What's
the
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 opportunity
time,
to use time.
the time,
on-
she's
Oh,
open now for the
right.
time of the.
Okay, no, I don't have a.
Well, I have you guys set at 7 because that's what we met, but it's, I think it sounds like someone you wanted to.
Right.
Not.
Yeah, I'm fine with 7 o'clock.
I mean,
I'm good, honestly, I'm good either way, so.
Listen, I'm just asking for direction. I'm sitting
I
here.
think
Yeah,
7 o'clock.
too.
The thing is that at 7, it's at the end of the day.
Yeah.
At 3
Right.
o'clock, you gotta
at
stop.
3 o'clock, you would have to
Yeah,
stop
I
some
agree.
things, you know.
But
My
for
case,
some, for some people, 3 o'clock is better. And it seems like 3 o'clock was okay for 5 out of 7.
I mean, I'll take it, I have kids, so.
So what are we voting on?
So,
Are we
we're not
voting
voting,
on-
we're still
Is there a motion?
discussing the time,
no, we just, this is.
discussing the time.
Workshop.
An open discussion.
Working together to see if it, so we can work with each other.
Yeah, I think
That's
seven's
My
better.
preference is 7 o'clock for the regular scheduled meeting,
Yes.
7 o'clock, so
Okay,
that
so we
it's out
have
of.
4, we have 4 3s, 4 3s and 3 7s. So what would you like to do, Chair, please?
Well, is there a motion on the table? No,
No.
right? There's
Well, I'm
one-
just
We've been
saying-
discussing.
There's no motion.
We've been
No, we're
discussing,
just discussing, we're doing friendly discussion here. Okay.
I think 7 o'clock is better if you want the team to grow.
Yeah.
More people can come.
yes,
more people will
And the
have-
public as well.
I move for it to be 7 o'clock,
To remain at
Yeah,
7,
7
okay, so
o'clock.
for the
Remain at
the
7.
next monthly meeting.
remain at 7,
Okay, so
And
for
3
the,
o'clock,
your
very few
next,
people
your
are-
next monthly
the
meeting will
public
be
are gonna be able to
February
make-
24th.
at 7 p.m.
At 7 p.m. Monday, the following month will be March 24th at 7 p.m. It
Yeah.
is the fourth Monday of every month at 7 p.m.
Got it.
Eladio, you have a a conflict on what date, so I
On the
can note it
24th.
now?
Of February,
Conflict
yeah.
on, okay, no
I'm leaving
problem.
town on the 20th, I'm not coming back on the I'm coming back on the 24th, but I'm not gonna be able to make it because I'm coming up, returning at night.
Okay.
And have an item, can I talk about it? Very open.
Oh, we're just having,
Okay.
General
we're just
discussion.
talking.
Okay,
We're
Sure.
just talking.
I had, once I'm. part
Edward,
of
right,
the-
and,
Yes.
yeah, go ahead.
Once I'm part of the board, I cannot communicate, to the city or anything unless I'm going through the board. I want to make sure.
Yes.
That's it.
If you're gonna speak on behalf of the board, it has to be agreed
It
on.
has to be agreed upon by
So,
us.
so then my next question is, since you guys are the experts, especially you, I've seen the videos, and it's really opened up my eyes. I wanted to understand more
I like
about,
this guy.
why, I saw the letter, really nice, I like the letter. But I wanted to understand why the zoning department, since they were given the control by the Miami-Dade County zoning director, the Miami-Dade County zoning director has the control to allocate the times according to the resolution that was made, for the court. So I wanted to make sure if that was brought about, or is the objective only to, or one of the objectives is to go that route, to use the power of the zoning director that he's already been given.
All right, no, it's two different things. And, oh, if I may,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
the one thing is the county, what you're talking about zoning is county. So the county, it used to be regulated at each municipality where the mine exists across the state. So that's where there's laws, I think it's chapter 13, if you look on the Municode for Dade County, it's there. And it predicates when the time and dates and when the blasts and all that. As a matter of fact, Dade County, established 7.75, a higher reading than the state level, the legal limit.
Yeah.
As far as the peak part velocity,
Are they all here? Are they all?
that control was moved to Tallahassee. And now regulates the entire state, across the state. So although the county still has the rules, the laws are in the books,
It's just a sound.
what's being enforced is the state
Yeah.
level. And the state actually lowered the 0.5. Still way too high, it's arbitrary, but that's where that comes from. So it's not under zoning anymore, but county. Zoning is always a local municipality.
It's there, but it's not control over them because it's already been above them. That's what we're trying to.
So was your question clarified?
Yeah.
Good, good.
Okay, so
Is
the
there
next
anything else,
item that we have, if we're gonna have a workshop meeting for the,
Workshop.
the
We need to have a
community.
workshop.
February 27th, I said it for you guys.
We need to have
Right,
several
that's-
meetings, I would think.
The workshop is the 27th, but we wanna have a little subcommittee meeting. Ourselves.
What do you have available? Kyle?
For what times and what week are you looking at?
Are you, a week from now, well, Rudy, a week from now, you'll be able to have the documents ready,
Media agenda?
What if we just do once a week until the,
I don't think we have to do once a week.
It's only three,
So like February 7th? That's a Friday next week.
it's not many, there are not many weeks of in between.
No, I'm just saying, but if he brings the agenda, we can draft that next week. And,
If we set a schedule for every week, we may vote or realize we don't need to do the next week meeting.
right, and I think we could probably finish it all next week.
So.
If we have the documents, so Rudy, you sure you have
The
it?
I
draft?
would schedule every week.
but listen, if Rudy drafts the document, we go over it next week. I have to draft my presentation, then we gotta go over it, then we got, you know,
Well,
so
not
I,
the present, you're the longest one, so when will you have the presentation ready?
1 week after he has his part.
No, his part is only the agenda. It's a physical agenda, that's all it is. That gets handed out.
As far as presentation, what are we looking for to do?
Well,
I think that's the point of the subcommittee, right?
yeah, right.
Well,
She's
no,
the
no,
one
no,
that has
no,
to
but
get
we
it
need
done.
to guide the subcommittee. So what is the intent of
Right.
this presentation? If we're looking
I think-
for generic background information only, or we're looking something specific, we're looking for
Combination.
high.
So
Combination.
A
in
hybrid
the
approach.
agenda, at some point, you're gonna touch for municipalities to speak. Obviously, when those municipalities speak, we don't have to present anything because it doesn't fall on us. But when the community speaks or when we want to engage with the community, there's gonna be a turnout of cities, not just ours, right?
Right.
But we should educate
Other people.
Miami
other
Lakes,
leadership have to come.
PSN and our people,
Yeah.
how we want them to act. Hey, if you're affected and you're in our community, when we want you to go online, we want you to fill out the complaint form. This is what the complaint form looks like. If you have HOA meetings coming up in communities that are,
Right, so usually the
affected,
first
we
one
wanna get
presenting, the
involved.
first one presenting is BAB.
Okay.
The one
My
who
point
sets the
is-
tone is here.
Right.
Okay.
And the one who does the introduction is, the one who usually takes over is over there.
Okay,
Well, you could be the MC,
You
but I'm saying, I mean, now we'll get into what would be a subcommittee,
All
but.
right.
But if we did some sort of, we'll call it technical background, so we understand what is happening. Then go into what each municipality can, so they understand what are they seeing. What are
So
we-
one is the
what-
welcome. Two is the technical background,
Have to do that.
and that would be, so the welcome is the chair. The technical is the vice chair. Go ahead.
Any marketing will be with Francesca.
Right, well, that's.
Any
where her and-
presentations,
her and Miguel-
right?
but if you,
Ready?
we're not supposed to be talking agenda right now, because that should be the purpose.
No,
of
no,
the-
no, he's just.
I'm just giving you preliminaries, preliminaries.
It's
If you guys
general.
do not order, I wouldn't want to present communication efforts until all the cities go.
And that would.
That's-
be
then that'll-
that would be.
Keep
the
it
last
That'll be,
one.
yeah.
Prior to-
Thank you for.
That's true. That's true.
Because when Doral goes off on a blah, 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 and then Miramar goes off on a.
We gotta give it
blah,
time.
blah,
Right,
The
we gotta
difficulty
give-
on it, though,
we gotta
the
give it
challenge is to
municipality.
keep control,
So
so
we should have that
that
attended.
everybody's gonna go.
We
at
prepared it.
blah.
September,
Time,
Right,
and
have
the
it.
city only has 3 minutes?
3 minutes it is.
3 minutes,
A lot of one is
3 or
done.
4
That's,
minutes.
that, but I'm saying, that's the challenge, we gotta keep the control,
Mhm.
on that.
So for example, Francesca, welcome technical, say Miramar,
Say Doral.
say Doral.
Hialeah.
I am guaranteeing you're not gonna have more than 3 cities,
Okay.
okay?
Really.
So then,
Way to fight them.
then public comments.
Mhm.
Are you gonna do public comments before technical? I propose you do public comments after the technical speech is done. Everybody speaks, because when you have public comments before, they're gone. It doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
You need them to listen so they can absorb.
Yeah.
So we can do public comments, then we can do the communication, whatever you want to call it, whatever you
Just call
want
it
to call it.
communication for now.
And then before closing,
Yeah,
closing ceremony.
Entirely, yeah.
So we actually have an agenda laid out.
Mhm.
What's gonna change here is what municipality is gonna communicate. So can we, you'll bring what you have, but we kind of did like a little
Yeah.
a boilerplate just
We
for
did
us to have an
Right.
example.
We did that, and
So
have
when
it.
we have a workshop meeting that we can be
Okay.
present, I'll.
Who is on the subcommittee for the
Well, if
workshop?
you want me to do the minutes, I guess I have to be here.
Well, you had already nominated yourself, so that was a given. So who else is
I'll be
in the
there. I'll
subcommittee?
be there too.
I
Because
didn't nominate
depending,
myself for the secretary.
depending on who is in
You are
the
now.
subcommittee is the time that we choose for the meeting, no? I want daytime. One daytime, you ain't gonna find me here at 7 o'clock at night. 3 p.m., you could do it at 9 a.m. Anywhere between 9 and 3 p.m.
Okay, can you tell us?
Sure, what week am I looking at, next week?
As soon as possible.
6:55.
How do we measure the effectiveness? How do we measure the effectiveness of our training or of our workshops?
How effective?
Yeah, how do we measure the effectiveness? Like where,
The big thing is.
Participation and communication.
do we look at the data that like more people are reporting? Oh, this area is reporting more.
Historically, we've had that, but that's fizzled off, and they've got a new website, I wasn't even aware of a new website. So, and that's kind of fizzled off, but yes. In the beginning, actually, I had my own, we had our own website, and I would share at the meeting how to get into it. And at the meeting, there'd be 150 messages going through, not 150. It's 150 times 130, because we had a website that created messages for every legislator, senator, and state rep, and official in Tallahassee. It did them all in one shot, and I would teach you how to send an email, through your phone and more than half the crowd in there on the spot would send up.
Mhm.
So that was highly effective. Now, to your point, the realistic things of this is the media coverage that we get out of this. It's usually, we do have a packed house there, but it's still not as much as the 30,000 residents of Miami Lakes, as an example, PSN or the other communities. There's a handful of PSN, a handful in Miramar, a handful in Miami Lakes, it fills the chambers, but it's not everybody. But what gets higher coverage is the media, because we call the newspapers, the TV stations, news reporters. I mean, it gets pretty full, and that is what the big exposure happens. And Tallahassee's actually watching, they do watch the news as well.
At one point, like when I was hearing the blast, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna report this because it's getting less. Since it's getting less, they're working harder, so let me not, report it. So like to me, like, once I realized, hey, let me not do that, let me just report every single time I feel something, I feel like that vibration, let me just report it, whether it be small or big.
Right.
And then like when I looked at your video, you mentioned that like we don't look at the waves, right? We look from point to point. So it's interactions between people every single time they complain, right?
Mhm.
Like in my head, it was like, oh, if we look at the address of one person, we look at the address of the person next to them, right? We can tell the person next to them, hey, your neighbor's complaining about this and this time of the day. Maybe you have a camera, right? Maybe you can see that on that time of that day, he has something else. And then they'll start like, oh man, I do have an issue. I think most people, they just don't know that there is this issue. And media, like, what I see in the media is that they tell them like the scientific part of it. And that's just like, hey man, I don't have time for it.
So out of curious, I see, Edwin. Have you gone on the website to look at all the documents and all the reports and all the blasting activity that have been published
Yeah,
already?
when I had a laptop, like a couple of years ago, I was able to pull up the
I'm
historical.
talking about now.
Yeah, not
current.
now, because I
Okay.
don't have a laptop,
Well-
but the historical.
Okay,
That would be
well,
there.
you need a laptop because,
Mhm.
Francesca has done a lot of work and we have updated the whole website. So maybe you need to do that so you can see how much we have out there already. Because we have a huge educational component online.
I actually have a request, I guess, for the new members, and it's that I want you guys to take today's meeting as kind of like as a visual of what needs you see that maybe you can fill or meet, or maybe if you have like a strength in a specific thing, how you can like support us and aid us in reaching a goal. So like, for example, we have this workshop that's happening in a month. What is your area of expertise that you feel that, like, what do you bring to the table that could be beneficial to help support us for that website? Let's say, Danny, I know you're very popular in the PSN community and you have a very vast social circle, right? So maybe you can help us by like inviting residents in the community to come to the event. I'm only giving this example because I know Danny, but giving you this example to kind of like help you come up with your own thing. And if you could each send an email to Isle that then she will share to everybody. And then as we plan this event and we put things together, we can say, oh, you know what? We'll make sure we give Danny XYZ task to help us accomplish this goal. So, today's meeting had a little bit of everything. I mean, we had elections, we've had discussions of Tallahassee visits, and it's been very versatile, okay? So just let us know how you can be of aid and assistance, so that way you're, fulfilling a role that is affecting change on the board.
And then just remember, all meetings are sunshine, so all communication has to go through Isle. But when you do your swearing in with the clerk, she will give you a little booklet that shows you, what the rules are, what the mission is. She'll give you your little book, so that will also help you understand how the meetings work.
Yes.
And when you're sworn in, she'll connect you with me. And then if you have any questions, you can always reach out and I'll get back.
So
I know
before
you
you,
have my email already.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
Before you're sworn in, can you send that email? Can they do that?
About letting her know that they attended?
No, about their strengths.
Oh, for them, but he doesn't have my email.
No, I mean, I can give it to them.
Okay, perfect. Yeah,
You
you
have like a
have
Teams?
mine, because you're the one that had reached out to
Yeah.
me.
Have you guys been in committees?
can I
before?
make,
No.
Neither of you?
Well, I've served
We
as
haven't
vice
talked about
president
the
for
meetings.
other
know.
boards.
Like-
Nobody's
I'm
on
here at the top.
No, but like a town committee or
They keep on
Not
talking.
on committee, first time getting involved.
government committee, is I guess, a better word.
I've served on a lot of different real estate boards. I've served in government permit positions for that board where I have gone to Tallahassee and Washington to advocate and do different things. So, yeah, I was in Narrow for a long time. So I've sat on the West Broward boards and I sat on the Naples boards as well. I have an office in Naples, so.
Good, good. Naples is one of the communities that, CMAX is hammering.
Starting to get affected over there.
Yeah,
I wanna make a motion that the workshop meeting be for Thursday, February sixth at 3 p.m. Do we have a second?
Second. Wait,
Thursday.
what time did you say?
3 p.m.
3
p.m.
p.m., February
Thursday.
sixth, Thursday at 3
Next Thursday,
p.m.
not this one.
Next Thursday. There's a second, Francesca, all in favor? Aye, we are the committee, and you're welcome to attend.
Who, can we identify who's in this? subcommittee?
Francesca, Miguel,
Me?
Judy, Esther.
Just making sure, I don't want
What time?
to
3 or
feel
3:30?
like we're not.
I
being
already,
consistent.
I already said it, but I'm saying it again. And I know I said it because I have it in the minutes.
Okay, am I sending out the second one after that?
I think
I
you
would
should, and
do-
we can cancel.
yeah.
it.
The following
Okay.
one, can you do it the following Thursday?
The 13th.
At what time?
Same clock, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
The
so
13th.
committee members, we have February sixth calendared and February 13th calendared if it's needed. And by then, February 13th, we should have it wrapped up because the workshop is already scheduled.
27th.
The,
I have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
30.
All in
Yep.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. We've adjourned at 9:11. Thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate everybody's patience with me in the minutes. Thank you.